Hello, my name is Roy Gillis, CEO of Lighthouse Streaming, and you're watching Centex Sports Network.
You got 8 seconds to prove you're worth the price of admission. And you got Baylor Scott and White Health along for the ride. So square up. You got this.
RJ's Bargain Center is your home team for appliances at unbeatable prices. From refrigerators to washers, dryers to stoves, you'll find brand new appliances with huge discounts. And just like your favorite local teams, RJ's is proud to support our community and local sports. Score your savings today at RJ's Bargain Center, 711 Lynn Street, Waco. Call 254-224-6178. RJ's Bargain Center, where big savings are always a home run.
I've looked back at MCC with all these kids coming out here, these men and women starting their lives out here, starting their dreams and their visions of what they want to do for their family. It's the foundation for our community.
The plan is to go win.
Yes, sir.
Our girls set a goal that they wanted to win a national championship. They wanted to win a conference championship. That's been on the table from day one. And now we put ourselves in the position to do that.
This is why you need Centex Primetime. Jalen Gillis brings the realness. Dive into the heart of sports with the most passionate commentary around. From pro to high school, Jalen's got the insight and energy you crave. Catch all the action weekdays from 5 to 7 p.m. on the Centex Sports Network, only on YouTube. Join the conversation and elevate your sports knowledge with Centex Primetime. Don't miss it.
Need video or audio solutions? Lighthouse Streaming, a full-scale media agency, can transform any event. Check this out. We're talking live streaming that's crisp and clear, event audio that hits every note, and church video and audio solutions that'll enhance worship. Corporate events, we got those on lock too. From concerts to conferences, Lighthouse Streaming and Audio makes your vision shine. Book your appointment now at lighthousestreaming.com or call 254-252-4206 for a free consultation. Let's elevate your event and light up the stage.
Hello, my name is Roy Gillis, founder and CEO of Lighthouse Streaming. Over the last 4 years, we've had some tremendous successes, none of which could have been accomplished without you, our clients, and our viewers. From my family and the staff of Lighthouse Streaming, thank you.
What's up, everybody? My name is Jalen Gillis. You may know me from Centex Sports Network. We're starting a new platform, Recruit 254. Our mission is to highlight the amazing student athletes of 254. So if you're in the Waco, Killeen, Temple, Mart, Marlin, or any surrounding 254 areas, follow this platform and join the movement. Recruit 254. 254, let's run it up.
My name is Emily Adams. I'm the marketing director for the Texas Asphalt Pavement Association. We are here at our 3rd annual MAPS conference at the Waco Convention Center in beautiful Waco, Texas. I think the event has exceeded all of our expectations. We had an amazing turnout and great sessions and nothing but positive feedback. So this is our first conference in a convention center, and I'm used to working with hotels where there's like one person to talk to for everything. And so at the last minute, we realized we needed audio and video services. And so I contacted Lighthouse Streaming and Audio, and they were very quick to respond. They were able to, even though it was the last minute, they were able to fit us into their schedule, and they provided us with technicians and equipment to record our sessions, and we'll be able to provide the people who are speaking at those sessions with great video of themselves. I would highly recommend them. I highly recommend Lighthouse Streaming and Audio. I had nothing but a pleasant experience, and if we come back to Waco again, which we hope to do, I know I'll be in touch with them.
Yeah. Yeah. Rappers really don't want beef with me. Trust me, I can beat you easily. Suckers get DDT'd. I've been swinging for the fences since I was in Little League. I'm at their neck like a guillotine. Woo! Langston Hughes with the verses. Hook something like a Reno. Baby girl, I ain't got time to chase you. I've been chasing dreams. Whoa. I'm going crazy like I'm daylight. Yeah, I'm a crossover gang. AI, yeah. We be skipping over all of your verses just like the CD with a playwright, yeah. I already know if the beat is bananas, it's only right that I go ape on it, yeah. Going crazy like I'm daylight, yeah. I'm a crossover gang, AI, yeah. We be skipping over all of your verses just like the CD with an A, yeah. Going crazy like I'm daylight, yeah. I'm a crossover gang, AI, yeah. We be skipping over all of your verses just like the CD with a playwright, yeah. Going crazy like I'm daylight, yeah. I'm a crossover gang, AI, yeah.
Hello, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back into Centex Primetime. I am your host, Jalen Gillis, getting ready to bring you through the primetime topics in sports, not just here in the Central Texas area, but from all around the nation. Folks, we want to thank everybody for tuning in with us on this Tuesday afternoon. For all of you watching with us over on YouTube, make sure you guys like and share this stream. Also, hit that subscribe button, man, so you'll be able to catch all of our content here on Centex Sports Network. Yesterday, we got a chance to talk about some of the recap games. We'll touch on that some more today. We'll talk about the struggling QBs in college football that's going on in the first few weeks of the season. I'll give out my players of the week from last Friday night in high school football, and we'll touch on some more NFL, and we'll touch on the games last night, recapping the Monday games. I thought about not coming in to talk about the Monday game since my Texans want to lose with 10 seconds left to go on the clock. But I decided to still come for you guys, so thank you guys for tuning in. You can always go to our website as well, centexsportsnetwork.com. Go on there, free subscription, just need your name and your email to get signed up. You'll be able to catch all of our content, including MCC Volleyball. We got some more MCC Volleyball tomorrow, 6 o'clock. Make sure you guys ready and tune in for that. We'll also have more volleyball this weekend as well. And you guys already know, Friday night, we've got Friday Night Flex right here on Centex Sports Network, where we're going to be covering all the high school teams here in the Central Texas area. So make sure you guys are tuning in and getting ready for that as well. Folks, like I said, we got a lot to jump into today, so we're going to get right to it. Joining me here today on set, the man that you see here every single week, most famous man in Waco, Mr. Rocky Miller in the building.
What's up, everybody? What's going on? Hey, you know, this is the highlight of my week, being here to talk sports with you, Jalen, man, and I'm looking forward to it. We got a lot of sports to cover, a lot of football to cover. Let me just say that.
Absolutely.
And so let's do it, man.
Folks, we're going to get right into it. Unfortunately, I'll have to start with the game that made me turn off the second game, and that is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers getting the win. Last seconds of the game versus my Houston Texans. Yesterday, y'all watched the show. Y'all see me come in with my Texans hat. It did not help out. Maybe next time I had to put a jersey on or something else to go with it. But that didn't work as the Texans fall 20-19 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Pretty much a defensive game for the majority of the game. Nothing really special from either of the quarterbacks. They did not turn the ball over. That's always a good thing. Baker Mayfield, 215 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. C.J. Stroud, 207 yards, 1 touchdown and no picks. Unfortunately, it's the same story I said after week 1, everybody. The Texans cannot block. We cannot keep our quarterback off the ground. He got sacked 3 times, but he probably got hit 10 to 15 times. They can rush from up the middle. They can rush from the side. We got some decent running game going with Nick Chubb, who's been playing great in the absence of Joe Mixon, who's been hurt. But that was not enough to be able to overcome what Tampa Bay was able to do. Texans score with just 1 minute and 50 seconds left to go on the clock, thinking, hey, we got the game-winning touchdown. It's going to be a good drive to end the game off. Jalen Noel gets a 40-yard punt return, set us up. All we got to do is get a stop. Well, the Bake Show happened right after that. Baker Mayfield gets the ball, and they're able to convert on multiple fourth downs and eventually getting all the way to the end zone with just 10 seconds left, giving them the game-winning touchdown. The Texans fall short 20-19, moving to 0-2. On the other side of that, Tampa Bay, another 2-0 start, I believe, for the second or third time in a row now. They have a 2-0 start on the season. Rock, what do you think about the Bucs getting the win last night over my Texans?
Hey, man, I think y'all fell for the cheese. Y'all, and let me tell you what I mean by that. I don't get don't quote me on the exact time, but y'all got the ball at the 25-yard line with 3 minutes and some change left, and Nick Chubb runs all the way in the end zone when he probably should have went down at the 11, giving y'all a chance to get a first down before y'all go in and score. You only needed a field goal to win, and y'all let Bake get back on the field. I think that was the plan from the very beginning, to let you guys score with enough time left where it didn't hinder, where they could still run the ball or drop it down to their guys. Because they were moving, to me, they weren't very impressive moving the ball through the air yesterday. I'm going to be honest with you. But they were able to run the ball effectively on you guys, and I think to Todd Bowles' credit, he said, okay, if we go ahead and let them score here, we'll have our entire playbook at our disposal, and that'll give us a plus timeouts, and that'll give us the time to run the ball and move and keep and score a touchdown before time expires. And you guys went for the cheese. Now, that would I sincerely believe that, because you guys had not been able to run the ball the entire night. Before that run, you guys had ran the ball 18 times for about
60 yards, 60 yards.
Yeah. I'll say 59 yards.
Yeah.
18 times for 59 yards. And then y'all rip off one for 25 at that point in the game. I don't think that was about coincidence. What they didn't want you guys to do at that point is to milk the clock all the way down and kick a field goal, which y'all would have never got it, which Tampa Bay would have never got it. Even if they had used all their timeouts, right, and then allowed you guys to kick, that still would have reduced the time where they would have been exclusively in passing mode.
Yeah.
And I think early in the drive, them being able to check the ball down and run the ball early allowed them to actually get the momentum enough.
Yeah. It was almost all run plays on the 2-minute drill.
Yeah.
One of the first times I seen almost all run plays.
Yeah, and I was playing Bucky Irvin as well, and he got me.
Yeah,
he got me right there. I ended up losing that game by 5 points.
Ooh,
and it was the two catches and the yards in that last drive. I was so hoping that the drive could end with a kick, so the Tampa Bay offensive players couldn't get back on the field. But unfortunately, it didn't happen that way. I ended up losing my fantasy game.
Yeah, it's the worst when it comes down to those last second ones like that, where you watch and you keep refreshing, like, okay, how many points did that get him? How many points did that get him? So yeah, I hate that's always the worst one.
And I hate, and so I know you'll put it on them their ability to protect C.J. Stroud as the Achilles heel, but I still say the Achilles heel for the Houston Texans is their ability to not be able to run the football. If they could run the football, if you could just simply run the football, you would be in a situation where you would force the defense to run defenses that didn't put C.J. Stroud in must-passing situations. See, you got to understand, Baker last night was able to throw on 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, 3rd and 2, whatever, in favorable situations. C.J. Stroud seems like he was in 3rd and long.
Man. Every
third
time,
every third down. And so I hadn't looked at the third down stats, but I don't think. It's what I thought. They were 2 for 9 on 3rd down.
Oh yeah.
And ultimately, that's what hindered them from winning the ball. Now Baker wasn't great, but he was 6 for 14, which is much better than 2 for 9.
And 2 of those came on the last drive. So he wasn't playing
Absolutely.
much better either throughout the game, which was expected.
And that 1-for-1 on 4th down really cost you guys.
Oh, man, a 15-yard run on 4th and 12 kills you at that point. And then to see them after that continue to run the ball even more with a minute left, I said, oh, they're just gonna make it tough on everybody. They're gonna run the ball with 60 seconds left to go and get 20 yards on the run. I was like, yeah, at some point you deserve to lose when you play like that, and that's how I felt about the Texans last night. I agree with you on your point about them running the ball. Obviously, we have Joe Mixon, who's been a 1,000-yard rusher every year he's been in Houston. He's not playing until week 6, so we got to figure something out before then, or we're gonna be being in a hole to start this off.
And I got to concern themselves about next week in this regard, because Tampa Bay held on to the ball for 37 minutes, and on a short week coming back, how would that defense hold up? I mean, they ran 72 plays last night.
Yeah,
and so you got to be concerned about the defense. But again, I think the Texans are a good team. They'll be playing the Jaguars, which they'll be going to Jacksonville. I think they'll be set up to get a win. And I actually think the Titans will be okay the Texans will be okay these next 2 games. They have the Texans, have the Jaguars and the Titans. But at the first weekend in October, I wouldn't expect to win, because they're on the road to the Ravens.
Playing the way we play right now, you got to win against Jacksonville, Tennessee, because you're going to lose to Baltimore. And then you play in the Seattle team that's got a good defense as well, that can also run the football. So, you have to get those wins.
But if they play Mac Jones,
yeah, I expect them to get the 49ers if Mac Jones is playing. I expect them to be able to get the 49ers. But it's going to start with winning those next 2 with the Jaguars. And you got to get up. And from what I've seen from the first couple of weeks, you got to get your lumps in early on Tennessee now while this is Cam Ward's rookie year, because he's not going to be a slouch at all as he gets earlier, because some of the throws that this dude is making, we talked about some of the drops off camera. We were talking about some of the drops in the Colorado game, and I want to touch on the Colorado game later on, but the Tennessee Titans probably have to be leading the league in drops. Cam Ward is hitting guys in the face mask, and they're dropping the football. So I'll be happy to see what they go out there and do as well. On the Tampa Bay side, I think they'll be okay. This is the team I picked to win the NFC South. There was nothing, super special to write home about. But if they get a good amount of wins, they get 9 wins, they'll be able to go out there and win this division once again. So I don't have any complaints about Tampa Bay's side as well. The Texans 0-2 to start the season. Tampa Bay 2-0 to start the season. Much different outlook for both of those guys on their short season so far. There was a doubleheader last night, 2 games on Monday night, as the Los Angeles Chargers took on the Las Vegas Raiders in what ended up being a pretty boring game. I was hoping to see an exciting game. I talked about the game, previewing it yesterday on the show. I was hoping to see an exciting game. I was encouraged by what I seen from Geno Smith in week 1 and what those guys were able to do. But they come back out and kind of come back to life here as they took on a Chargers team that I think is actually going to be really good. But they weren't able to get anything going. I mean, the first play of the game, Geno Smith comes out and throws a pick. So that kind of tells you where the night is going from there. And what we know from the Chargers in the regular season. Now, playoffs are a different story. Obviously, we saw what they did in the playoffs last year. But in the regular season, they're not going to give Justin Herbert a lot of opportunity to turn the ball over. They're not going to turn it over much. They're going to run the football. They're going to play conservative football, and they're going to play defense. That's exactly what the Chargers did last night, is they were able to get a win 20-9. Did you make it to the late game last night, all the way through the late game?
Oh, yeah, I
night?
did,
Okay.
For sure. I watched a lot of that, and I also lost some money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll keep you up watching the game when the money is involved.
Yeah.
That'll keep you up watching.
And like I said, Geno is an enigma in this regard.
Mm-hmm.
He'll literally wear out the bad teams, and he will wear out the bad teams.
Yeah.
But the more critical situations you put him in the course of a game, he seems like he converts them 1 out of 5.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the key is to keep the game in critical circumstances, and he'll eventually,
beat himself.
Yeah, because last night he threw some interceptions that were not forced. Like they weren't they weren't forced. They were just bad balls, bad
throw.
decisions.
Yeah.
Now he was under pressure last night. I'm not gonna deny that. But it seems like if he could have played clean, the game would have been closer, which would have helped me out. And
yeah, definitely,
the game would have been closer, and more importantly, it would have gave the Raiders a chance to win that game. But
yeah, the Raiders, they were kind of, if they were able to win a game like this, they would be kind of punching above their head from the start. I think they were outmatched by a team like the Chargers. But when Geno Smith doesn't even give you opportunities, I agree with that last statement completely. Geno Smith, if they play in a bad team, it's going to look like when they played Baylor 10 years ago when he had Tavon Austin and Stedman Bailey and they broke every record possible to break. That's what Geno Smith is going to look like against the bad teams. When they play the good teams, not so much at all. And it's not even the fact that he won't throw for 300 yards. He's going to chip in with 2 or 3 turnovers to go along with it as well. So, that's just kind of who Geno is at this point. The Chargers are going to be right there to be able to win this AFC West. I picked preseason, I picked the Broncos to win the AFC West. Right now it look right, but we know how Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes did. Before the season started, I said this will be the first time in a decade that the Chiefs don't win the AFC West. I think they've won it every year since like 2017 maybe. So far it looks like I'm right, but I picked the Broncos to be the winner. Chargers are going to be right there in contention, if not leading, to be able to win that AFC West because, like I said, they're not going to turn the ball over in the regular season. In playoffs, Justin Herbert turns into another guy. I don't know what happens. Jim Harbaugh is going to play conservative football. He's going to play defense, and he's a smart coach. For that reason, I got him getting at least 10 to 11 wins. And this year, that could be enough to be able to win the AFC West.
I still got Kansas City. I just think, I think Broncos and the Chargers will play way too many close games. And in those close games, NFL teams are about 50%. So I think you're right. They're both going to end up with around 10 wins. But I think if you look at Kansas City's schedule, they can easily walk away with 11 wins because they'll be the better team and the favorite in the large majority of the rest of the games they play. Especially when you talk about when Worthy comes back, Rasheed Rice comes back, they're going to be a different team offensively. You won't be able to hold them to 19, 20 points once they get their guys back. And so that's, but again, I don't think Chargers or the Denver's a bad pick. I just think that their style of play will have them playing so many tight games.
Yeah, that is true.
That
every game is close with those guys.
Like last night could have easily been if Geno Smith had to play clean, could have easily been a Raiders victory or at least,
close game,
1-score game.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I agree with that, definitely. Their style of play makes everybody has an opportunity to beat them. That's what the Texans did in the playoffs last year. We started off punting the ball maybe 5 times. The first 5 drives might have been 5 punts. But their style of play kept us in the game. When the offense did start clicking, it was too late. Then Herbert added in on top of that with picks, and it became an avalanche after that. So I agree that their style of play will keep them in close games. I think the Raiders are actually going to be better than maybe what most people, including myself, predicted. I think they're more of around a 7-8 win team as opposed to maybe a 5 or 6 win team that I thought preseason. If they're able to run the ball effectively, we'll have to be able to get. Jency looks like he's getting better, so I'll give him some more time before I start saying I told y'all he was playing at Boise State. I'll give him some more time before that. I think he's going to be good. He came out first play of the game and laid it on somebody and trucked somebody to start the game off. So I'll give him that. But I think the Raiders actually be a decent team. I love the culture that Pete Carroll can build there. You seen Tom Brady up in the booth yesterday, so he's being more involved.
With headphones on.
Yeah, with headphones on.
I wonder what he was listening to.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out. Is he calling plays? I know he ain't calling them, so he's listening in like, nah, that ain't going to work. It's 3rd and 6. This ain't going to work. This team running the cover 6. So I was one of those things about it. But Chargers move on to 2-0. Vegas Raiders 1-1 on the season as the Chargers not only 2-0, but they're 2-0 in their division, giving them a healthy lead against everybody else in the AFC West. Well, I made you guys wait long enough. Y'all know I got Rocky up here, so y'all know what team we're going to talk about. Cowboys get an overtime win, 40-37 over the New York Giants. A game that did not go any way that I thought it was going to go. I thought this was going to be a low conservative game where the Cowboys cover and we don't see much fireworks. We got the complete opposite. Those of you that watch the show with me, y'all know that I'm hard on Russell Wilson and how I feel about Russell Wilson. But there's nothing else I could do on Sunday but take my hat off and say, this dude is throwing the leather off the football with some of those throws he was making. But like Russell Wilson, he turned back into Russell Wilson in overtime, and he's going to give you opportunities to go out there and make a play. That's what they were able to do. Donovan Wilson got that pick in overtime. But the real MVP, we all know, is Aubrey in this game. Comes out, nails a 60-plus yard field goal like it was nothing. This is the best kicker in the league. I mean, I said last year he was the best kicker in the league. I think now it's clearly solidified he's the best kicker in the league. It goes from being a guy that's just on the team to one of your best weapons is that we have this guy similar to when the Patriots won all those close games. Well, we have Adam Vinatieri. Or when the Colts had Vinatieri. It was close games. We know we'll be okay because we got Adam Vinatieri. That's the type of kicker that Brandon Aubrey is. This was a game that was fireworks from fourth quarter on. The first 3 quarters were slow moving, kind of how I predicted them to be. Giants scored 21 points in the fourth. Cowboys scored 20 points in the fourth. They were able to get a last-minute field goal in overtime to win the game, 40-37. Rocky, I don't know how many times your blood pressure went up or down watching this game, but it was a pretty erratic game. Both guys were throwing punches, going back and forth. Neither offense was going to be stopped in that fourth quarter is what it looked like. With 13 seconds left, did you think the Cowboys are going to be able to come out and win that game?
I mean, I thought they were going to win it with about a minute left, and then of course, I don't know what coverage they were running, but
Cowboys or Giants?
The Cowboys.
Oh, yeah.
And we let a bomb go with 25 seconds left. I thought the game was pretty much over, but like you, once we got the return, then we got a catch, and then.
That's going to be money after that.
Well, I knew we had a shot.
Yeah.
And, with all the Cowboy fans, we're living right.
Yeah.
And so I was hoping that we could make the field goal. I had I thought we had a chance in overtime, but, because I felt like we were moving the ball at will. We didn't have any trouble moving the ball. I had the doubt that we could stop anybody. But with the overtime rules, you have a situation where both teams get the ball. So you have a good confidence that even if you don't get the ball, you can at least respond to whatever anyone does. And so with that being the case, I felt like we had a decent chance. And in overtime, the real Russell Wilson showed up.
Showed right back up.
And because of that, we were able to get us a pick that ultimately set us up for a victory. Here's another thing I want to say. You said that the reason why we were able to win because Brandon Aubrey. I disagree. The reason why we were able to win was because of Dakota Rain Prescott.
Okay. I ain't mad at that. Dak had a good game.
Dakota Rain Prescott.
I'm not mad at that assessment. He did throw that pass right before they were able to kick the field goal. I'm cool with that. But one of the reasons they were finna lose wasn't because of Dak. The defenses has got some question marks, obviously in the lieu of the Michael Parsons trade. Questions continue to rise about this defense, and I was talking with a friend of the show here, Kyrell, and we were talking. He's saying, well, we did get better in the run. We're going to be better in the run now. Kenny Clark is being good at the run. Okay, that's true to an extent, but the pass rush has become so much worse that you start to realize the things that most people have been saying about the DBs is that these aren't cover guys. These are guys that get opportunistic picks. Trayvon Diggs, Deron Bland. They didn't make All-Pro because they locked somebody up. They made All-Pro because after Micah gets done slapping somebody across the head, they throw a ball in the air, and they coming down with the ball. In coverage, they are not those guys. Trayvon Diggs, he's got a contract, but all we saw him was that number 7 trailing behind somebody too many times in that game, especially in the fourth quarter, giving them multiple touchdowns there. It starts to rise questions about the longevity of the play, of how long can this work for the Dallas, just for this season. I'm not talking about season going forward, they'll be able to address it. Do you think this style of play is sustainable for the Cowboys, and if they want to be able to go out there and get wins with the way they had to win this game against the New York Giants?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
No, I mean, giving up that many yards and points to a team. I mean, we have a decent offense, but we don't have the greatest show on turf or anything like that.
Yeah.
You know, we have to be able to. You know, I consider the Giants a bottom tier team. I consider the Russell Wilson a bottom tier quarterback. So
I agree.
As you look at our schedule, which our schedule is really tough, you say to yourself, if Russell Wilson can amass, almost 500 yards, what can
Caleb Williams is next week.
What
Jordan
can Love
is
do?
right
What,
after
what
that.
can Jordan Love do?
That's
So
what
those are the things.
Yeah.
Thank God that Jerry Jones, got us a first round passer, first round draft pick as a pass rusher now.
Yeah.
He's just 45 years old.
Yeah.
That's the only thing with Jadeveon Clowney.
Yeah.
And so hopefully he can make an impact.
Yeah, they're going to need him to, because that rushing the ball is an issue for them. In the first game that they lost to Philly, everybody was saying, Jalen Hurts' stats wasn't that good. Well, y'all gave him 5 to 6 seconds to throw, and he's just going to realize, I'm just going to take off running. Nobody is open. They are playing a pretty decent job of coverage, but I'll just take off running. And then this week, we see Russell Wilson looks like he turns into Joe Montana or something in there, the way he was throwing the football. But as you said, turned right back into Russell Wilson in that fourth quarter.
Threw for 450.
That's insane. First off, Malik Neighbors is a dude. Let's just say that, because even those touchdowns, both of Malik Neighbors' touchdowns weren't supposed to be touchdowns. If he throws that to another receiver, it's just an incomplete pass. Malik Neighbors is a dude, and they showed it out there once again, but we already knew that. Giants are going to return back to form. This is their one last. They always do this. They'll have that one game, and it seems like it's usually against somebody in their division, the Cowboys or the Eagles, where they're going to look like, man, we're going to fight in this game, and we're going to keep it close, and and then they lose 10 in a row. That's what the Giants are about to do, in case any of you guys are Giants fans and we're getting excited about what was going on. That's not going to happen. The Cowboys, like you said, got a tough schedule. They are going to play Caleb Williams and the Bears. I have them beating those guys because somebody's going to have to make me a believer out of Caleb Williams. I haven't been one since he was at USC. He hasn't shown me anything in the NFL to make him one. I think he is supremely talented, but I think that's about it. So I think they'll get one there, but then right after that, you get the Green Bay Packers, and Micah gets to come back to Jerry World. So I expect that to be a long game.
So I expect us to beat the Bears. Beat the Bears.
Yeah,
we got the Packers at home.
Mm-hmm.
So I know people are gonna think the Packers are gonna wear us out. I don't see it that way. I see us as being able to put the Packers in a conundrum, meaning that we can stop the run. We've shown the ability to put up a resistance in the running game, and we just have to get our pass coverage down. Again, as you can see, there were several times there where we weren't even covering anybody. So it wasn't a matter of coverage. There was no coverage. So hopefully, and I think we're coming, and I think the announcer brought up a good point. We were a predominantly man coverage team with the last two defensive coordinators we had.
Absolutely.
Now these guys are running some type of zone scheme, and it looks like no coverage. Now, we were able to contain the Eagles because the Eagles we were able to relegate the Eagles to just a bunch of underneath passes, which they were able to complete a number of them, but not for a lot of yards. This particular game, it seems like they weren't able to keep anything underneath, but they were bombing away at us, man.
Bombing. I think I agree with you on the Bears. I think they'll be good. It's hard for me to pick the Cowboys to win against Green Bay because Green Bay consistently seems to, no matter who's the coach, the quarterback, or anybody, they seem to consistently do bad things to the Cowboys when they play at Jerry World. That's just the history of the last decade of what the Packers have been able to do there. And I do think that they are better at stopping the run, but I'll wait and hold my reservations on if they can stop the run because Philly's offense looks absolutely horrible so far. So they held those guys, and the Giants haven't been able to run the ball since they had Brandon Jacobs. So they've held those two guys to running the football so far. I'll hold my reservation to see if this is actually a good run-stopping defense until I see them play a team that can run the ball.
Well, like I said, I like our chances. We have the Bears next, then the Packers, then the Jets, Panthers, Commanders.
Great.
I think
great run of games.
I think those are games that are all winnable.
Absolutely.
We go to Broncos, then go to the Cardinals, play the Raiders, and then on Thanksgiving.
That's when it starts to turn up a little bit.
We'll play the Eagles and the Chiefs on Thanksgiving. So that's when I think we'll really find out what kind of team we really have.
I agree.
And then Lions, Vikings, Chargers, Commanders, Giants. So, I mean, we got a lot. You know, we're just 2 games in. We haven't yet determined who we are, but it looks like if we are going to be successful, Dakota Rain Prescott is going to have to play out of his mind. Because other than, we're just not going to be able to put up a lot of resistance on defense. We're going to have to score points. We're going to have to require the other offense to put up points. And I think we have the skilled people with George Pickens. He's got off to a great start. Yeah. And I, as a Cowboy fan, I forgot what it was like to have a second wide receiver.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and so it really takes a lot of pressure off CD.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I didn't even think about what CD had last night, but
9 catches, 112.
Yeah, I mean
yards.
he was wide open a lot of times.
Every play.
Other than that one where back through into double coverage and he made it in reception, most of the time he was in single and he was open. So
he probably could have went for 200 if they didn't hold every single. I've never seen that many pass interference calls in my life.
And just to be honest, Dak had a great game, but he missed a few.
Oh yeah, he missed some in there,
especially
too.
down the field. So
yeah.
So I imagine he'll be sharper, and I'm looking for them to put up some points against the Bears, and then move on and to play the Packers real tough.
Yeah, I don't have any question marks about Dak Prescott. He's probably one of the least questionable quarterbacks, I think, going into this year. That's why I picked him on my fantasy team. I knew what type of year this was going to be for Dak. Not only is it a prove-it year as he's coming back from an injury last year, but you're going to give him George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb and a serviceable tight end, and now it looks like Javonte Williams is the Javonte Williams of 2019, 2020. That's a pretty serviceable offense. We knew the offensive line would be good. All question marks are on the defensive side of the ball. Not just the players, as Rocky pointed out, but the play calling has been extremely questionable on the defensive side. If you know you got guys that are used to playing press man, you don't have a pass rush like that anymore, but you got to try something. We can't just sit back in a cover 3 or a cover 6 or a cover 4 and let guys just throw bombs over the top the entire time. And I'm sure they'll address that as they go forward. The next game, I think they'll be just fine against the Bears. As I said about the Giants, I don't think anything of the Giants. They're going to be what they're going to be. Now that we're just 2 games into the NFL season, are there any surprise players or teams through this first couple of weeks that catch your eye that you're like, oh man, okay, I didn't know this guy was going to be good, or this team is playing better than what I thought they were going to play so far this year? It's only 2 games in a small sample size, but any teams or players you could think of.
You know what's kind of weird about this season? You usually have surprises.
Yeah.
But this actually seems like just an extension of last season. You know, when you talk about the players that can play, seems like this year. Let's talk about quarterbacks.
Yeah.
You look at Jalen Hurts. He's pretty much putting up the same kind of stats he was last year.
Yeah.
He's had 2 games. One game where he's passed for under 100 yards. The other he's passed for under 200 yards. But they both control. They won some really close games and control those games that they won. And so that seems like. Then when you talk about Josh Allen, he had a tremendous game the first week and the second week. So you don't have to have any questions about that. Lamar is doing what Lamar did the previous year.
Yeah.
Then you move over to you look at what people thought would be a changing of the guard in the NFC North with the Packers, the Detroit Lions, the Vikings, and the Bears. The Bears seems like the same old Bears, right?
0-2. Yep.
Now, I guess you could say the class of that division is now the Packers rather than Detroit. But we saw that Detroit is pretty formidable as well. And it seems like the Vikings have kind of taken a slightly step back. But I think they finished third in their division. Well, did they finish third in their division?
They finished second in the division. Detroit won 14 games, I believe.
Yeah.
They won 13.
But with them losing Sam Darnold and starting a rookie quarterback, I think it was reasonable that they would have be some regression. And with them starting rookie quarterback and with those growing pains, well, he's not a rookie, but he's a first-year quarterback. With those growing pains, you think that. So and the only surprise that I can think of, and it's not really a surprise, is that when Green Bay traded for Micah Parsons, it kind of catapulted them into the top of the elite class of NFL teams.
Yeah.
So now, rather than have, you have the Eagles, you have the Bills, you have the Chiefs, Baltimore, and you have to throw the Packers in there now. And I'm waiting to see. It's a wait and see attitude when it comes to Detroit. I saw they had a tough game coming out to shoot against the Packers, but last week they dumped the Bears on their head.
Yeah.
And so it seemed like they still could be pretty formidable foe.
Oh yeah.
And Jared Goff is same up to. It's funny how they were. The narrative was going to be for the new offensive coordinator was going to be that losing Ben Johnson was a huge loss, and that Kelvin Shepard wasn't up to the challenge, and they put 52 on Ben Johnson, and I wonder what that conversation is like.
Yeah.
Now, we don't even know who the offense coordinator is now for Detroit.
Detroit, no.
Because looks like they were trying to throw the young black offensive coordinator under the bus, and turns out that the reality is Green Bay's pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we figured out was Green Bay's actually after their first 2 weeks, that was just Green Bay's defense being really good, and Detroit's offense is probably going to be similar. I'm agreeing with you though. It seems like, as you said, just an extension from last year. The Bears suck. The Browns suck. All the teams that were really bad, they're still really bad. The teams that were good, Philadelphia's good. Green Bay's still good. The one slight surprise, I guess I could say, but I'm not really shocked by it because I felt this way about them last year. The Indianapolis Colts being 2-0, not just because they're 2-0, but this almost looks like a hand in glove fit offensive-wise for Daniel Jones, which I kind of seen it coming. That's why the second they signed him, I came on the show and said Anthony Richardson is no longer going to play for the Indianapolis Colts. It's going to be Daniel Jones. But the command they've had on this offense, he's the first guy to have 600 yards in the first 2 games, no turnovers since Peyton Manning. I know it's not going to last, but that is one of the only slight surprises I could say about this. Go ahead.
So Daniel Jones has played well, but I put the Colts and Cincinnati Bengals in the same category.
Yeah.
Both of them sit at 2-0, but there's reasons why. Of course, Cincinnati's situation is they lost Joe Burrow, right?
Yeah.
But Daniel Jones, he could be the second or third best quarterback in this division. Behind,
he's the fourth. I'm going to go ahead and put.
I'll say this: you put him, C.J. Stroud is class, but you put him, Cam Ward, and Trevor Lawrence. You just because Cam Ward is a rookie, you put him in there. So I don't know. As the season progresses, we have to really see what Daniel Jones is. I'm not ready to anoint him as you can see. The Miami Dolphins know how to give it up.
Yeah.
And so they're not a juggernaut. But again, the Colts and then Cincinnati being at the top, but we know that's a
fool's gold.
I guess also It's not surprising. It's surprising to me that Pittsburgh is struggling on offense, but I guess considering they have a 40-year-old quarterback, I guess that shouldn't be surprised. You know,
We thought after week 1 that all questions are going to be answered and Aaron Rodgers is back and yada, yada, yada. And 2 nights ago, they returned right back to form as far as being an underwhelming offense. Weren't able to run. That's the worst part about the offense. I know everybody wants to put the blame right on the Aaron Rodgers. They're not able to run the football. I don't know any 40-year-old quarterback that has success when you can't run the football. If they don't figure out how to run the football, the Steelers are going to be toast. They couldn't run it last year. They couldn't run it the year before that. That's why the Steelers have been bad for the last 3 or 4 years.
I'll ask you because you know as I go through this, it maybe not be a surprise. The Cardinals being 2-0, is that surprising?
No, I had them being better this year. It's not surprising because they played the 2 worst teams in the NFL. They played the Panthers and the Saints. So
and they very well could be 3-0 considering.
I have them winning the next 2 games. I had them being 4-0. I had them beating Seattle and San Francisco over the next couple of weeks.
And possibly the Titans as well.
Yeah, and then the Titans, they could be a 5-0 team. So I'm not surprised by that. I think we wrote off, well, not me, but a lot of people wrote off Kyler Murray too early just because the Cardinals weren't good. So they just figured, well, it must be Kyler Murray's fault. Kyler Murray is actually still a really, really good quarterback. The Cardinals just have had a bad roster. They've been drafting really high for about 5 or 6 years. So now those draft picks are starting to come to fruition. Marvin Harrison is starting to turn into the guy they drafted him and thought he could be. They've drafted a lot of guys on the defensive side of the ball that are great. They have a top 3 safety consistently year in and year out with Budda Baker. He's a complete and total game wrecker on the defensive side of the ball. But right now, I think they just played the worst 2 teams of football. There's going to be a competitive game against San Francisco. I have them winning that, and I have them beating Seattle on Thursday Night Football as well. So they could very well get off to a great start. But they're one of those teams that if they get into the playoffs, which I think they probably are, no one's going to be scared of the Cardinals. The other one I was going to bring up as a surprise, I mean, you have to say the Kansas City Chiefs being 0-2. Yeah, they played 2 good teams to start it off, but you don't look up and see a team that won 15 games last year start the season 0-2 going into the season. And they haven't started 0-2 in the entire Mahomes era, which is spanning over about 7 years now. So that's got to be at least somewhat of a surprise that they're 0-2. Am I worried like they're going to be 0-6? No. They're going to make the playoffs. They're going to be a tough team, as you just spoke to a while ago. Once they get Rashee Rice off suspension and once they get Xavier Worthy back from injury, they'll be a better offense. But them being 0-2 has question marks. And I already had question marks going into the season. I think they'll be a playoff team. But I said last year that they wouldn't three-peat and wouldn't win the Super Bowl, and my prediction for this year is that I don't even know if they'll make the AFC Championship game because there's too many holes. And eventually, we have to start holding Patrick Mahomes to some type of fire. We know he's a great quarterback. We know he's going to be in GOAT talks and all this kind of stuff. But we want to anoint these guys so quick, and we can't just sit back and say he's played bad football for 2.5 years now. This is going on 2.5 years. He's played bad, not conservative football. He's played bad football. He's been a middle-of-the-pack quarterback for 2.5 years now. It's continuing even without the weapons on offense.
So I'm gonna disagree with you in this regard. Statistically, yes, he's been a middle-of-the-road quarterback.
Yeah.
But each and every time, he's been able to deliver in the clutch for his team.
Absolutely.
And that makes you above the fray.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So that's what I'm saying. So yeah, statistically,
that's what I mean. Statistically, I know the plays he'll make on the last plays.
But when the game is on the line, he typically comes through and makes the play. And he made the play against the Eagles.
He did.
But Kelsey didn't.
He did. Exactly. Swifty wasn't able to get it done. Yeah.
So when you think about that, you have to say to yourself, you know, he makes the plays in the clutch. Now, how does Kansas City get off to better starts? How can their offense be more explosive? Mm-hmm. Those are the things that they have to deal with but I don't think the lack of explosion in their offense. I think one of it is he was throwing to a 35-year-old tight end, right? Yeah. Last year he was throwing to Juju part of the year.
This year
Rasheen Rice was out. Mm-hmm. You know, these are the same things they were dealing with last year for different reasons.
Yeah.
You know, Rasheed Rice was coming off of ACL, I believe. Last year.
Yeah, towards ACL.
Right. Xavier Worthy is a rookie. So let's let it kind of unfold and see what it. Again, I watched the Chargers last night. I'm not certain that Chargers team is ready for prime time against a QB like Mahomes. They did good against Geno, but
did good against Mahomes week 1 too.
Yeah. But I don't know that they're ready to deal with Mahomes and Arrowhead, things of that nature. There's levels to this.
Yeah,
there's levels to this.
I agree.
And again, we're still waiting on Justin Herbert.
Oh, and I have plenty of question marks about that.
We're still waiting on him to do something in the playoffs. We're still waiting on him to deliver, as everybody has anointed him as top 5 quarterback, but he hadn't got top 5 results. And so until that happens, I'll reserve my, I'm not going to put him in there. One of the things about when we talk about Mahomes has done it time and time again.
Yeah.
My man Josh Allen has done it time and time again. So when Justin Herbert gets in a game with one of those two guys, is he going to be able to outduel him?
Not in the playoffs.
When it's all on, when it's all on the line.
My money won't be on him for sure.
Yeah.
No, I agree. Yeah, Herbert's not. We definitely anointed him so early as just one of the best guys to throw the football. I even heard him this offseason saying it again, like they didn't watch him throw 5 picks in the playoffs last year. This whole offseason, we've got to still put Justin Herbert in this top 5. No, we don't. We don't have to do that. I think he is a very talented quarterback, but I said the same thing about, and I think Herbert's better than Caleb Williams, but I said the same thing about Caleb Williams. Yeah, he's talented, but when the rubber meets the road, he doesn't make the plays.
Well,
Mahomes is the opposite.
And again, as we asked him, we ask when we assess. I think Justin Herbert is this kind of guy. He's the kind of guy, and I'm not comparing him to Geno, but I want you to understand this: the more that you ask him to do, the more exposed he looks.
Yep.
It's not like a guy like Josh Allen. Let's give Josh Allen his flowers for a moment.
Man.
The more you put on his back, the more successful his team generally becomes. The more he's able to shoulder. You hear some guys talk about Josh Allen sometimes. Talk about Justin Herbert as if he's done some of the things that Josh Allen has done, and it's not even close. They're not even in the same category. And so, and for all intents and purposes, he's working with a much better roster than Josh Allen is.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Defensively
and offensively.
Yeah. So let's give Josh his flowers, man, and let's not do this. And to put him on par with Lamar as well, and maybe even Mahomes. I think that's a little premature. So let's let Justin Herbert grow up a little bit before we start anointing him and his team, for that matter. So that's why I'll reserve reservations for. Let's just see what the Chargers are going to be, because right now they're not asking him to do very much.
And when they do that, they win a lot of games. When they don't ask him to do a lot, but when he got in the situation in the playoff last year, he had to do a lot. He threw 5 interceptions. So yeah, it's tough for him. To the Mahomes, I know he'll be straight. That's what always saves him, is the fact that he's able to make those plays in the fourth quarter, to make those winning plays. I think he always makes the winning plays. The reason I said that his play has been bad the last 2 years is because he consistently turns the ball over, and none of those are a guy dropped it and it fell into somebody, the defender's hands, or somebody tipped it and went. It's bad. I'm looking at a defender and I throw it right in his chest. Interceptions. Those are the ones where I'm like, okay, what was that about? You do that, and then after that you backdoor that, and then you go into it and you throw interceptions, and then you go into it and your defense doesn't give you opportunities to be able to win games. I think it's tough whenever you have to try to overcome that over and over and over for the Chiefs. But all in all, I think the Chiefs are going to be okay. I don't think they'll have many problems moving forward. I just don't think that they'll be a Super Bowl winning team as we've seen the last 3 or 4 years in a row. Let's see if we can get a caller in, Rocky. I'll see if we can get his audio up here. I have to wait for him to call back. I think he hung the phone up. But yeah, you can call the number down below if you were calling. I hooked it to on there. If you were calling, you could call back and we'll try to get you in real quick here on there. Let's go to a couple of quick takes. Oh, we have some time here left on the show here, folks. We just got done talking about Mahomes. Talked a little bit about your Dallas Cowboys. I noticed where we got a lot of comments coming in from as well. And we got done talking about my Texans falling to 0-2 as well. Let's look at some quick takes, some stories around the world of sports. First off, the fight that was supposed to be the fight of the century, and it lived up to be a really good fight, I still believe. Terrence Crawford beats Canelo by decision, 12-round fight. I have no idea how two of the judges scored that fight, 115 to 112. I'm not sure what fight they were watching. I thought it was more of a 115, 108, or 109. I maybe gave Canelo 2 rounds maximum. Terrence Crawford dominated from start to finish, as we've seen him do 43 other guys. At this point, I have yet to see Terrence Crawford have a close fight. He has not had a close fight since he became a main stage fighter. Every fight he dominates, including the fight that, like I said, was the most wrong I've ever been about in the sports thing, was him fighting Errol Spence. I picked Errol Spence in that fight, and he literally beat the brakes off of that guy. So that didn't work. Let's see if we can get our caller in real quick, Rocky, before we go into
press 2.
this. Hello,
to
can
hear
you
the
hear us?
phone number, press 3.
Say it one more time. Oh, looks like we lost him. Okay, Rocky, so we'll move on. What did you think about the Canelo fight this weekend, man? Crawford getting the win.
I thought it was a good prize fight, man. It was a truly a boxing match. It was not one of these wars that people tend to really enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
I like the technical aspect of boxing. I like the fact that this was a really high level competition. I'm glad that the public at large got to see what boxing was when I was coming up, when I was much younger. It's really a tremendous sport.
The sweet science.
Yeah, it's a tremendous sport fought by men who are courageous and in these arenas and in these tense situations and circumstances. To this day, there's really nothing quite like watching a championship prize fight. And the crazy thing is a championship prize fight is like almost like watching the Super Bowl from a tension standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
But the cool thing about boxing is you could have 3 or 4 of those a year. But what in recent history what's happened is, for whatever reason, those fights haven't happened as frequently as they possibly could, because you should have one of those fights at the super welterweight level, super middleweight. You should have those same boxing matches at the heavyweight level, and then the welter and even the light heavyweight. You can have those big fights, and we should have 3 to 4 of those a year. And unfortunately, the way the business of boxing has been.
Yeah, that's what's killed it. It's the business of boxing.
We haven't been able to have that kind of drama and tension around boxing, because, like I say, from the weigh-ins to the stare downs to the it's just this great pageantry and just tremendous competition.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. It's like you said, we should be able to get 3 or 4 good fights per year instead of just the 1 or 2 good fights that we get. And I blame majority of that on the promoters. Looks like we got another caller in here. Hello, can you hear us?
What's going on, man? How you doing, man?
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, what's good? Hey, man, I just want to talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers, man. This your boy Goat, man.
Okay.
What's up, Uncle Rock, man?
What up, man?
Taylor? How you doing,
what's
man?
Going
I just
on,
want to
brother?
say, man, Pittsburgh is just a average team, man. Everybody want to see them score a whole bunch of points, like Big Ben and Bill and Antonio Brown did once when they were playing, bro. It's not going to happen, bro. They're not connected like that. They're all over the place, man. They're trying to piece up the team. Their defense is not looking what they're supposed to be looking like. So that's where I stand with that. Shout out to the Cowboys. The Cowboys finally got them a win. Rocky Miller can, shake his pom-poms and things like that. And Terrence Crawford did what everybody expected him not to do, but he did it anyway. And he really frustrated Canelo because Canelo couldn't fight him off the ropes and he couldn't bully him like he wanted to. He countered the hell out of Canelo, and Canelo caught hell all night long, man. That's just what it is, man. I want to say thank y'all for letting me call in. Today's my birthday, and shout out to y'all, brother, for doing it.
Happy birthday, brother. Hey, let me ask you something, Goat. Now, let me ask you this. As a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, a devout Pittsburgh Steelers fan, is it time for Mike Tomlin to move on to greener pastures?
Nope. Well, it could be, but I think Tomlin try to save face because he's actually living off this winning season streak. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so he's gonna continue to ride off that faith or whatever. But if he actually can put in a player that he need to, man, they probably can win a Super Bowl, bro. The AFC North is not really that tough. You know what I mean? You have Cincinnati Bengals up there that struggle the first half of the season, and then they look good in the mid or close to the late half of the season, and then they really tumble at the end of the season. So if they put the right players in, they actually could win the AFC North and probably have be a contender of the Super Bowl.
Well, with the fact that I don't suspect Joe Burrow to show up this year, I don't suspect that Cleveland will provide much of resistance. I don't suspect with those 4 wins that he'll get that playing those 2 teams. I don't suspect his streak will be stopped anytime soon because I'm sure he could pick up 5 wins.
Yeah, just with those guys
yeah,
alone.
Yeah. And he already has one already. So I expect him to, him not. But I don't think with Aaron Rodgers and the way the team is playing, I don't think they're a Super Bowl caliber team at all.
Yeah, I got to agree with Goat.
No,
he said the defense is not playing up to par, and I agree. The defense is what's
if they can keep the game close, they can win it because they got a really good kicker as well. Their special team will show up when it need to be showed up.
No, definitely. Hey, man, Goat, I appreciate you calling in with us, and happy birthday, bro, for sure. Hopefully your Steelers get you a dub this weekend for your birthday.
Hey, shots for me, brother.
Yeah.
Hey, man, appreciate it, man.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I agree, man. The Steelers, they're one of those teams that they're going to be in a lot of those games, but if the defense is not playing good, which it hasn't been so far, which is supposed to be their calling card for this year was going to be the defense, then they're not going to have a chance to be able to win when it counts down the road. And I have to disagree with Goat about Mike Tomlin. I think it is about that time for him to go and move on. The voice might have been a little bit worn out as well. And going back to the Crawford fight before we get off of that, yeah, Goat was right about that as well. Canelo tried to bully him, tried to get him against the ropes, tried to be a weight bully. Didn't work. I didn't have Canelo winning this. Everybody that asked me, I said I've been picking Crawford for 3 or 4 months since the fight was made. I don't pick against guys that look like that. Let's just start with that. If a guy has $50 million in the bank account and he won't comb his hair or look like he even buys new clothes, I'm not fighting that guard picking against that guy. What are you talking about? He don't care about nothing. Canelo don't make $800 million. He don't care whether he win or lose. He going to the crib. He going on his PJ back to Mexico and going to have a good old time, win, lose, or draw. But to your opinion, does this put Crawford in that upper echelon? Because he's probably that might be his last fight. Just put him in that upper echelon as far as welterweights.
I think when you look at his career, I think he's been a world champion spanning over 6 weight classes. He's one of the greatest fighters to ever fight.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, because of the politics of boxing and the business of boxing, we didn't get a chance to see him in those huge fights in his prime. Mm-hmm. But you got to think about the business. Let's think about the business of boxing. He was probably in his prime, in my opinion, from 2013 till I'll say 2020. Let's just say 2020. You put him in that situation. That means that you got Canelo. You think Floyd was still active. Pacquiao was still active. Mm-hmm. You had some guys with some huge legacies during that time, and the business of boxing says you don't risk it on a guy that dangerous if you don't have to.
No.
And so, therefore, he was having to fight. He didn't get a chance to fight any of the guys who had household names.
Yeah.
And so, with that being said, I think I appreciate that he got a chance to fight our homeboy Errol Spence, and he, he proved that point. And I'm glad they didn't have a rematch.
I'm very glad. I wasn't gonna watch it.
I don't think it deserved a rematch.
No.
It was a shutout.
Beat the brakes off that dude. We don't need no rematch to see that again.
So and I think and this is my opinion. I think Canelo is one of those fighters that he benefited from being a marquee fighter for a lot of his career, and the fights. And he fought a lot of different fighters, but when you think about Canelo in a big fight against another equally talented or more talented guy, he didn't get a chance to he didn't get a chance to bang those guys. He banged a lot of guys who were either over the hill, past their prime, or
he
didn't
fought a
have
lot of scrubs.
And didn't have the skill set. And then when he did go in those super fights, and I'll say with the ones with Triple G, he got favorable decisions and things of that nature.
First
and then
one should have been a loss.
And he took on Bevo, and we all saw what happened in that fight. So again, I think, and not to say that Canelo is overrated, but he's been one of the few fighters that's been given the opportunity to take risk and been somewhat protected in this in the fight game.
Absolutely. After I think him fighting Floyd early on catapulted his career, even though he lost, because he got to get that being a brand name boxer.
Absolutely.
But then he got the bag from DAZN, and DAZN gave him, $200, $300, $400 million just to fight. They didn't say fight a top guy. So then we saw Canelo run off about 15 fights against scrubs where he dominated and boosted that record up. And Crawford, I agree, he's going to go down as one of the best fighters of all time. Unfortunately, I think he's going to go down as one of the maybe the best boxer with the worst resume, because up till the Errol Spence fight, it was lackluster as an understatement as far as guys that he fought. But to your point, who was going to fight him? He came on the scene as far as being a top guy that he needs to have his name in that hat to beat guys around 2016, 2017. At that time, Floyd was done fighting. He was about to fight Conor McGregor at that point. The only real fight was Spence. For whatever reason, they weren't able to even make that fight for almost another decade after that. So his boxing resume is going to be poor. But as far as when you just watch a guy, you take the stats aside and just watch a guy, man, Crawford is going to go down as one of the greatest.
And Crawford was a guy, you got to understand, he was a really dangerous guy. He fought a guy, you guys may not be familiar with him, but it's Yurkus Gamboa. Gamboa at the time was a guy. Was a bad man.
Yeah.
Was a bad man.
Nobody was trying to fight Gamboa.
And he obliterated Gamboa.
Destroyed him.
I
watched that fight.
And when those kind of things happen in a fight where, and you're the B-side, right? Guys aren't going to take those fights.
No.
That's because at the time, Gamboa was a rising star. He was somebody he was that guy.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And he just obliterated Gamboa.
Destroyed him.
And then he would go on periods of inactivity, and there was a situation where he got a chance to fight. I remember I thought that at one point they were going to put him in Keith Thurman in the ring, which I thought was a great fight. But Thurman chose to fight.
Fought Sean Porter,
I think Canelo is who Sean, and I think Canelo put him to sleep, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and he was terrible. I'm glad he didn't fight Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman ran from
What was
Spence.
the other guy? No, not Keith Thurman. What was the other guy named? The big guy, the guy from out of Austin that was trained by Pam Wolf. What was his name? What's her name? What's her name? Pam Wolf. Ann Wolf fighter. You could. I'll look him up. But he was a guy out of Austin. Had gotten in some trouble. What was his name? Ann Wolf's fighter. I'm gonna Google him while we are here.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the guy's name, but yet
Ann Wolf's.
He didn't want to. Nobody wanted to fight Crawford after about. As you said, I have to give him credit for the for the Gamboa fight. He destroyed Gamboa, and I'm like you. I remember Gamboa. Well, I was watching Gamboa at that time. He was considered a guy that nobody really wanted to fight like that. And Terrence Crawford handled him. He handled Errol Spence, as we all knew he would be able to do. He handled Sean Porter, but I don't think anybody expected anything different out of that. and Kell Brook was a guy that they wanted.
Oh
to.
yeah. He was another guy that
they thought was going to be a next guy
a
up.
superstar.
He unfortunately just fell into and beat Benavidez. He beat Benavidez in 2018. I remember watching that on ESPN. He just fell into the era where Floyd had retired, and the only marquee named welterweights at the time, the only marquee named welterweights at the time were Manny Pacquiao and the Canelo Alvarez. And he didn't get the Canelo fight until just now. Rocky, looks like we got another caller in here. I'm gonna see if we can get him up here on the phone. Hello, you're calling in the Centex Primetime. Who we speaking with?
For extension.
Okay, looks like it might have clicked off. We'll see if they'll call back with us. But yeah, unfortunately, he just fell into a time where there weren't marquee welterweights for him to fight. Errol Spence was the top names. Manny Pacquiao, we know Manny Pacquiao wasn't finna fight Terrence Crawford. He's gonna get beat to sleep. And then Canelo. Those are the only guys Canelo moved up. And for that reason, Terrence didn't get a chance to fight anybody. Not saying I wouldn't have picked him against other guys. He just didn't have anybody to fight. By that point, kind of the marquee welterweight or the marquee weight was like 135, 130, and Terrence Crawford way too big for those dudes, like the Tank Davises of the world, the guys that had some star power.
James Kirkland is the guy.
James Kirkland, okay, yeah,
that's
yeah,
the guy.
yeah.
That's the guy that ended up fighting Canelo. I think Canelo took him out.
Crawford just didn't get a chance to fight against the GOAT, and that didn't really have nothing to do with him. Same way I say for Floyd to somewhat. Now, some people will say Floyd didn't fight anybody. I strongly disagree with that. I think he fought multiple guys that
no. Floyd
really good careers.
Floyd has a decorated resume of fighting over. I want to say he fought like 20 champions. Like Floyd has.
I don't know why people say that. Floyd has got a long resume of fighting.
Yeah. Now he may not have fought them in their prime, but
the only guy I think of he didn't fight in his prime was Pacquiao. And that was Pacquiao's fault.
Well, I don't think he fought Berto in his prime. I don't think he
didn't fight Berto, but that's when Floyd was in his prime. Like he can't go back in time to go fight the dude in his prime.
I mean,
you talking? First of all, he was going to destroy Andre Berto regardless. Whenever they fought, he was going to destroy Andre Berto regardless of whenever those guys fought. Let's see if we can get the call in with this time. Hello, can you hear us?
Is calling for extension.
Okay, so we're getting a disconnect on that one. But, yeah, I think Floyd fought plenty of guys. Crawford is going to go down as one of the best. Unfortunately, he just didn't get the belt. While we have some time here left on the show, I want to talk about a little bit of college football, and I got to talk about the lackluster play of quarterbacks in the college football, as far as guys that were hyped to be the best, as far as guys that were.
I told you so.
Yeah, I mean, hey, only one that I guess that we disagreed on that has played bad is Cade Klubnik. But I was never on the Arch Manning train. I was never a guy that Arch is going to come out here and like. That wasn't me. You playing against 5'8" DBs with no tan on their legs. In high school, I don't expect you to come out and be a world beater in college football either. But it's not just him. We've seen it from a multitude of guys. The main one being Arch Manning has played, in my opinion, horrible. I'm seeing him too many balls getting thrown in the dirt. It's one thing to just miss a pass when you're throwing it in the dirt.
I had no expectation for Arch, to be honest with you, Jalen, because I hadn't seen him play. He played against teams where his team was overmatched. His team was far and away better. I think what they're doing to him now is kind of they're relying on him to be the offense, and I don't think he's that kind of player yet. I don't even know if he'll develop into that kind of player. But I think they should focus on running the football and using those other guys to move the ball. They have a great defense, and so I think they're just putting too much on him right now for whatever reason. What they've put on him is too much. I don't want to say that because again, 2 or 3 times into whatever it is you're doing, probably on your third show, you're not near as good as you are now.
Yeah,
you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think that's what we're dealing with, is a guy that's he's probably not a natural like people want him to be. He's probably not a transcendent talent like people thought he was. He's probably just a guy that's going to have to grow into being a good quarterback, and there's nothing wrong with it. He's just going to have to be ready to accept the criticism because he's playing at the University of Texas, and if he's going to grow into that as a quarterback, he's going to do it under a severe microscope.
Yeah, I agree. I do think that it's early. And can he become a great quarterback or a good quarterback in college football? Absolutely. He's got plenty of time. This is his first time even being a starter. He's a sophomore. Can he get good? But to push back a little bit on they're putting too much on him, if you getting the first down versus UTEP is too much on you, then you need to play in a different conference.
Well, what I'm saying is they're expecting him to move the offense. And that's what I'm saying. When they should have enough talent at the University of Texas, to be honest with you, against UTEP, I should be able to play quarterback and they win.
Yeah.
Right? They shouldn't struggle the way that they did. And I say they struggled because they were steadily putting him in situations where he was a trigger man, having to make the plays, and for whatever reason, he just wasn't able to do it. He was put in a situation where he ended up throwing for 100 and something yards, maybe
114 yards. I get it. Yeah, you're putting him on the offense, but they were. I watched the game. They're running the ball on first and second down majority of the time. They rushed the ball for 227 yards.
They should have rushed for 500.
He started the game 5 for 15 against UTEP, and you're playing in the SEC. That is 100% unacceptable, whether this is your first game or your last game playing in the SEC. He's got a very long year coming ahead.
To me, this is a game where they should have been using check down, swing passes, all that kind of stuff.
I'm telling you, they tried some, and he's throwing the ball in the dirt. I'm seeing gravel come up from the turf when he's throwing the ball.
Let me ask you this, Jalen. Since you obviously watched much more of the game than I did, but I watched the middle parts of the game, whatever.
I watched the first half majority of it. I didn't watch much of the second.
Is there any chance that he's injured?
No, I think the only thing injured on him is his confidence right now. I don't think he's hurt. I think because he's still running the ball pretty effectively. He ran for 51 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's running the ball effectively. I think his confidence is I think it's literally all mental. I think he still has all the attributes. He's fast. He's got a big arm still. He can, accuracy issues, but we know he can throw the ball. I think it's a confidence thing. When you're staring at a guy 10 yards away from him and you miss him, and you're playing UTEP, so the dude is completely wide open, and you miss him, that's a confidence thing. Can he get that confidence? Yeah, because it's super early in the season. I'm just saying it's going to be tough to gain that confidence when now you have the SEC is coming ahead. Right now you play UTEP and San Jose State. I don't even count the Ohio State game against them. You're playing the champs at home. So I get that. But when you struggle like you did against San Jose State, you struggle like you did against UTEP, it's tough.
And
it's
the thing
tough.
that I see is that you have a kid that played against him, Malachi Nelson, that obviously looked like a much more functional quarterback than Art.
He was number 2 quarterback, I believe, coming out of college.
He just looked more functional, even against a much better defense.
He did. And that's what he should look like, Malachi Nelson. He went number 1 quarterback in California, went to USC, got a spot took, went to Boise State last year, got a spot took again. Now he's having to go all the way down to UTEP and find himself playing there as well. Texas is going to have a long road ahead of him. Now, the other guy, can't make any excuses for whatsoever. That's Cade Klubnik. You said you don't believe him at all. I said he was going to be one of the better quarterbacks coming into this year. Completely wrong about that. Cade, it's tough for me to say completely wrong because as bad as Cade Klubnik looked, this is exactly how he looked to start the season last year. But then he went on a tear for the last 7-8 games of the season, and that would lead me to believe, well, maybe he's figured it out now. Well, he hasn't. Not only has he not figured it out, but Clemson hasn't figured it out. Clemson has looked down. I'm down on Dabo Swinney. I'm down on Cade Klubnik. I'm down on just about everybody to do with Clemson right now. And there's multiple quarterbacks, as I said, that have struggled so far. You can go ahead about the Cade Klubnik.
No, what I was simply saying is, I think I look at these quarterbacks a little different. Mm-hmm. Cade Klubnik, I think, is a decent college quarterback, but he's not he doesn't translate into an NFL juggernaut. That's all that I'm saying.
No.
I think he's a good college quarterback. When I look at quarterbacks and the quarterbacks who are the engine, right, that drives the team, I'm looking at the Joe Burrow quarterback. I'm looking at the C.J. Stroud kind of guys. I'm looking at when he was in college, Justin Fields. I'm looking at those kind of guys.
Justin Herbert in college.
Those kind of guys that they were the engine behind their offenses. They were the reason why their teams were successful and the reason why their teams were able to move the ball. I always thought, even though Cade Klubnik was a good player, I thought he benefited from good offensive line play, and then last year a much better cadre of wide receivers than he has now. So now you get to see who he is all on his own. And I think though I'll even say this, even though he's a good quarterback, he's just not the NFL prospect everybody thought he was going to be, or his skill set doesn't translate the way they thought it was going to be. At the end of the day, to be an NFL quarterback, and we're fighting this out with Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
You have to be able to reliably deliver the ball, the routine pass. I'm not talking about the fantastic pass, the routine pass. And here's the same deal with Arch. When you struggle delivering the routine pass, it's hard for a team and they're depending on your arm to move the ball. It's difficult for them to design an offense when you're spraying the ball all over the place.
Yeah.
And I think that's Cape Cutting's situation. To me, he was never an efficient passer. It's just that he would hit these guys down the field. He had big plays. He had a tight end that was all world as well. So again, shout out to Cape Cutting, but at the end of the day, he's just a average prospect.
Yeah, I agree with that. He's definitely an average prospect for sure. Going forward, are there any QBs that you've seen that you say they have lived up to? Because I feel like almost one I would name is Carson Beck. I'll give him the credit. He has played great. Did it again against USF this last weekend. But outside of him, I don't think there's.
I think the guy from Georgia played pretty decent last
Gunnar
week.
Stockton, I said yesterday.
The guy from Georgia played
I think Gunnar Stockton and Joey Aguilar are both better than what I gave them credit for. I said that after seeing that game against Tennessee. Gunnar Stockton is much better than what I gave him credit for, along with Joey Aguilar. But with
I think Mateer is
John Mateer. Yeah. Oh, John Mateer is a guy.
Is a guy.
Yeah. John Mateer is a guy. Definitely. I think he's lived up to the hype, and I talked about him plenty. I think he's lived up to the hype as well. I haven't seen much out of Drew Aller. Quietly, Julian Sand has not played great at Ohio State throughout the first couple of weeks. Struggled in last week again as they played Ohio, but we'll wait to see.
I'm gonna tell you another guy that I've gotten a chance to see twice now, and he's not prototypical quarterback, but Haynes. Haynes King.
I have to take a hat off to Haynes King. He has played outstanding through the first 3 games, doing what he does. It's not the stats, or he's not throwing for 400 yards, but doing what he does.
White Vic, Will Howard,
Tim Tebow.
Tim Tebow. He plays like those guys. And personally, I like that style of play.
I want that from my college. We're talking about college. I want that from my college quarterback if my team is good. I want a guy like that. He's going to go get that 4th and 9. He's going to go get that 3rd and 6.
Let's also do a shout out to Pavia.
Diego Pavia. Oh, my goodness. A dog.
Diego Pavia.
Dog.
He's
since last year.
Yeah.
A dog. Diego Pavia is an absolute dog on the field.
He's played well.
Come from JUCO. He's come all the way up through the ranks from JUCO to D2 to now being a Vanderbilt, and having Vanderbilt having their best 2 seasons that they've had probably in my lifetime. So definitely got a shout out to Diego Pavia. I think Castellanos at Florida State.
And the last guy I'll give a shout out to is a game I watched on the edge of my seat this weekend. Was my man at
Marcel Reed.
Marcel Reed. You knew where I was going with
Reed.
Marcel Reed
stepped up.
Had a tremendous game, I thought.
Stepped up, yeah.
And in very difficult situation, very difficult circumstances, had to do it twice.
And I think he's a guy that missed. He threw for a lot of yards, but he missed a lot of passes as well. But to your point, in those game-winning scenarios, which was the entire 4th quarter pretty much, as they were going back and forth.
But if you look at the stats of that game, I think the whole game was on him to move the football.
It was. He threw the ball 50-plus times.
Yeah,
the entire game was on him.
He didn't get a lot of help.
No.
I'd like to see what they threw, what the rushing, how many rushing yards did they have?
They rushed for 128. 37 of those was his.
Oh, yeah. yeah.
Le'Veon Moss just got all the touchdowns. They kept getting the 1-yard situation and handing the ball off to Le'Veon Moss.
When I think about a guy that's a true engine, or a guy that's a tractor, the guy that does this pulling his team. Just think what that game would have been if they didn't have Marcel Reed on the
blowout. Yeah, that's a blowout. I got to give him credit.
So those are kind of guys that are, and again, and let's go back. I want to briefly talk about Cade Klugman.
Yeah, go ahead.
In those games, in those situations, Cade Klugman has played well. But even when he's played well, he's not been the engine.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a difference when you're the engine versus when you're a piece or you're part of it. And I like to see quarterbacks, if you're going to be here's what I believe.
Mm-hmm.
If you truly, and this is why I always believed in Shedeur, if you're a true collegiate quarterback and you're an NFL prospect, you have to be the reason your team moves the football. It can't be because you have a great running back, great tight end, great protection, cadre of dynamic wide receivers. That can't be the reason why you're moving the ball.
Yeah.
Because if not, that's not how the NFL functions.
No.
You understand what I mean? That's not how the NFL functions. You're not, each and every Sunday, these NFL defenses know how to take stuff away. They know how to take even what you do well, they know how to take that away. Even when that happens, what can you do? That's why I like guys some guys who even struggle to move the ball when they're not on such good teams. And that's why I look at a guy like John Mateer, who let's take Oklahoma aside. But even before he got to Oklahoma, he was on the offense where he was the guy at Washington State, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Washington State.
He was the guy.
Backed up Cam Moore for 2 years.
Yeah. So that's what I'm kind of talking about is guys. So you can't be a delivery boy at the collegiate level and then get me to believe that you one hell of a prospect. That's why you end up with guys like J.J. McCartney and him looking overwhelmed on the NFL level, even though he was a number one draft pick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You can't tell me by any measure that Shedeur couldn't outplay him right now.
Oh yeah.
At the NFL level. You can lie to me, you can tell me anything, but I'm telling you, if Shedeur plays in that game, he plays with Justin Jefferson and Naylor and those guys, you can't tell me that in that game that night he couldn't pass for more yards than.
Absolutely. J.J. McCarthy probably hadn't thrown for 250 yards since high school. I know he didn't in Michigan, and I don't know when he's going to be able to get a chance to do it in Minnesota. So as you said, you can't turn a guy from just I'm going to pitch you the ball, get you the ball, quick stuff, to all of a sudden you're a world beater in the league. That's just not how it's going to work. At some point, you got to show me that you got the goods and that, hey, if we need to win the game, it's on me, and I'll go win us the game in college.
I'll say this. A guy that I never understood why teams discounted what he did. Mm-hmm. He ended up have Hall of Fame level talent. And I'm talking about just based on his collegiate career and what he did. A guy like Patrick Mahomes. If you watched him in college,
it made no sense to me.
Like he was clearly the most dynamic
it made no
quarterback.
Sense to me. As soon as the Chiefs picked him, I was like, wow.
Again, don't get me wrong. Deshaun Watson was a tremendous prospect because I think they were in the same draft.
He was the next pick. Deshaun was right after.
But if you look at Deshaun's wide receivers, a lot of those guys are in the league now.
Oh yeah, definitely. Mike Williams, They all in the league now.
You can't remember who Patrick Mahomes' wide receivers were.
And this I only know because I watched the game, but yeah, you don't. Them guys made it to the league. Outside of my guy from Lancaster, but yeah,
he was throwing for 600 yards.
I was at two of those games where he did it against Baylor, so I exactly knew what Patrick Mahomes was going to be coming into the league.
So you had full confidence that with it on him, and he was doing it without blocking, with blocking, whatever.
Without a run game, without a defense.
However you wanted him to do it. Yeah, he was doing it. He was keeping his game, even though he was 6-5, 5-6. I can remember what they were, but he was the reason, and he was must-see TV
every time. Every time he stepped on the field. Yeah, I agree. You got to show at some point. You got to show that you have the goods. A lot, for whatever reason, seems like a lot of quarterbacks are struggling. We didn't even talk about all of them with the DJ Lagways, the Nico Email-Lavas, that guys that were 5-star blue-chip guys that seem to just not be getting it so far in the college season. Right before we get off here, I know you got to get to HBCU Coach's Corner here in just a second. Are you in or out on these teams talking about college football? First one I want to ask Clemson. In or out on those guys? Their season already, you got to be out on them. They're 1-2
They play in
right
the ACC, so
they'll have a chance. They lost 3 games last year and made it to the playoffs. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Notre Dame 0-2 for the first time in a while.
I'm definitely in on them. They got a favorable schedule.
Yes.
And they lost to who I think 2 teams that will prove to be really good teams.
Texas Longhorns.
I'm in. I'm in on them. Like I say, I think on a team like that, with the coach, you have to be in on those guys till they lose. They may lose here shortly, but I got to be in on them.
Yeah, that's probably the only one I disagree with is with Texas. I think I'm probably out on those. I just don't see how they get multiple wins in the SEC.
My question is, will they have to depend too much on their defense? Will they lose games 17-13? Will they lose games? Because on some level, you're going to have to put up some points.
Yeah, that's in the SEC, you're going to have to put some points up eventually. And I think their defense is on par with just about anybody in the SEC. But their offense, and it ain't just Arch. I said it yesterday on the show. I think their entire offense is overrated. Outside of that running back room, I think every running back they have is good. I think all the freshmen that played this last week, C.J. Baxter is good, Wisner is good. But outside of that, their receiving corps extremely overrated. Offensive line extremely overrated. Because I'm only calling them overrated because they're all 5 stars. I think all those guys are overrated, including Arch Manning on there. Do you think these teams can contend for a title this year? LSU Tigers.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree with them. Florida State Seminoles.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, Tommy Castellanos is a guy. The Indiana Hoosiers that are undefeated.
No.
I agree. No on Indiana. Last one, the Texas A&M Aggies.
Yeah. So here's my deal.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's going to be a Boise State coming out of nowhere this year.
Yeah.
USF has been taking care. They were the one team.
That was about the one team, yeah.
And I think they're going to be taken care of. And they took care of Boise State. So
they eliminated both of those.
yeah. So what you have is potentially, with that being the case, you got the Big 12, you got the ACC, and then you have 10 spots for
everybody else
for the SEC
and Big 10
Yeah. So you got to think. Let's just say they're going to take the top 4 teams out of each league. That's quite a few teams.
That's a lot.
If you take the top 4 teams, you get right off the bat, you're taking Georgia. You're taking.
You talking SEC?
Yeah.
Georgia, LSU. I will put in there toss up between the last 3 spots, or last 2 spots will be a toss up between A&M, Texas, Oklahoma, and Alabama.
So you can easily
pick one of those guys.
You can easily get 3 of those teams in. Then you go over to the Big 10.
Penn State is going to make it.
Again, I just
Ohio
think
State's going to make it.
Penn State,
Oregon,
and Ohio State are in.
Penciled in already. They're already penciled
in. You can put those guys in. They're in.
Mm-hmm.
So then you look at what other 1 or 2 teams can make.
Indiana.
If Indiana has
Illinois,
a good team, Illinois has a good season.
USC is undefeated. Yeah.
So you understand what I'm saying? Like this season, because of the showing of Boise State and SMU. They're not going to gamble with any of those B-level or B-tier teams unless they have beaten a top echelon team.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Big 12, only you have to win to get in. If you win the Big 12 championship, that's how you'll get in.
And I don't think there's a good team in the Big 12.
Yeah. Sneak in to be
Even though
to be
Haynes King, I think, is a great story, great quarterback, great college quarterback. Again, I think I think they're going to get knocked off because they're not dominant. They're going to play enough close games that they're going to get knocked off. You got to remember they played They play Colorado close, and we don't think very much of Colorado at the end of the day.
No.
Even though they beat Colorado, they didn't blow them out or anything like that.
Houston beat them more than Georgia Tech beat them. So
absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. So I think it'll be one or two teams.
Now, what do you think the chances of a team like Vanderbilt slipping in?
None. Only because they're in the SEC. Only because if they were in literally any other conference, I would pick them as my dark horse.
Can we take a look at their schedule and see how many losses you can stick those guys with?
So they have out of most of their years, this is probably the most favorable schedule I've seen them play, and they still got some losses. They got to play Bama, which is gonna be a tough. I mean, they beat Bama last year, and I think
they're gonna beat Bama.
Yeah,
I mean, they're not gonna beat.
No,
Bama.
they're not gonna beat Bama twice. That's
not at Bama. That's at Bama, right?
Yeah, it's at Bama.
Yeah,
they're not gonna beat.
Chance
them.
That's gonna
they're gonna lose to LSU. That Missouri's a toss-up. I think they're gonna lose to Missouri, but that's a toss-up game. Texas.
No, they're gonna lose to Texas.
Okay, I'll give them the Texas. That game is to be determined.
If not Texas, Tennessee.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then I think they'll lose to Tennessee as well.
Okay.
They'll get. It's just because they're in the SEC. If they were in the Big 12 or the ACC, I would go ahead and say pencil them in because I am a huge Diego Pavia fan, like yourself. But the SEC is going to get 4. We might even see 5s. It depends what the SEC looks like. We might see 5.
That's what I'm saying. 4. I'm saying 4 minimum right now.
Yeah.
Like it's going to be 4 and 4. It's not going to be any chance that you're going to get any less than that. And that leaves. And what I mean by 4 and 4, that means that of the 4 teams that are left, they still have action at 2 of those 4. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, because it's ACC Big 12 champ. The other 2 might be SEC or Big 10 teams just as well. So I agree with you. I agree. I think it's going to be a big Big 10 and SEC showdown in the playoffs this year, similar to kind of how it was last year.
Because you got to remember in the preseason this year in the preseason schedule. Among underdogs, there haven't been many upsets. The only upset you can really look at is potentially USF, and they've already been knocked off. So,
USF, Clemson losing last week to Georgia Tech.
But again, Georgia Tech is going to have to do business in the ACC.
Yeah.
So that's going to put them in a situation where even if they're good enough to win it all, right? You know, who else from that conference is going to be worthy enough to go? And I'll tell you this: do they play Miami?
No, that's why I picked them. They have probably the easiest schedule in the entire country.
So they'll play Miami in the championship.
Yeah,
and
they're going to lose to Georgia. They always play Georgia last game of the year. That's going to hurt them. And then they're going to get to the ACC championship and probably lose again. So that's what will hurt them from possibly not making it. But everybody else in between here, I think they're going to dog walk the rest of these guys.
They got any ACC teams?
They got Temple, Wake Forest, Virginia Tech, Duke, Syracuse, North Carolina State, Boston College.
Oh, yeah, they got it.
That's it. They got
Pitt's going to be tough, too.
Pitt's always going to be a tough game as well.
Because they probably have to go to Pitt.
No, they playing Pitt at home.
Well,
they got Pitt at home. But Pitt will still be a tough.
They go to Boston College, though, in the middle of November.
They go to Boston College. So it's going to be cold to say that, but I don't think anything of Boston College. Yeah. And Syracuse is a game to look at as well. Syracuse is not a slouch. I know they got off to a slow start, but they're not a slouch. So it's going to be tough for them to get in with just the sheer with that playing Georgia at the end.
Yeah, they have to win. They have to win it all.
Yeah, they have to win out every game leading up to Georgia for them
and
to
beat Georgia.
Yeah. Which is, I don't.
If they beat Georgia, if they're undefeated and beat Georgia, they can.
Oh, they're in. They're in. They're undefeated and they beat Georgia. They're in. Because by that point they'll be ranked probably top 10 before they even play Georgia. If they're undefeated, and then they beat them, they're in after that. But yeah, it's going to be interesting going down the countdown. We're going into week 4. Everybody here in college football. Can't wait to be able to catch some of the games. Rocky, what you guys got lined up? HBCU coach.
Hey man, we're doing a interview with the legendary HBCU promoter. Al Wash, the promoter of the State Fair Classic. Absolutely. He's going to talk to us about the what's happening in this game, the entertainment, and one of my favorite topics is always the business of sports and collegiate athletics. He's the pioneer of it,
absolutely.
And so we're going to sit down and have some conversations with him. He always sheds some lights on what it takes to what makes a good classic and what it takes to make some money.
Yeah.
In college athletics.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be locked in this week. Y'all need to be as well. Al Wash is the GOAT as far as when it comes to sports promoting, putting on events in sports. Definitely one of the greatest to do it. So I'll be tuning in for that. Make sure you guys tune in to HBCU Coach's Corner. You'll be able to catch it on Rocky's channel and on
Centex Sports.
And on Centex Sports as well. So make sure you guys tune in for that. We're out of time here today. We'll be back here Thursday. Tomorrow, you guys know MCC volleyball. Make sure you guys are getting ready for that. We'll be back Thursday to preview high school football for this weekend, college football, and a little bit of NFL. And then we have Friday Night Flex on Friday as well. You'll see Rocky and Wayne will be back up here with me. So thanks to you guys for tuning in with us. Thank you to our callers that called in with us here today as well. We will see you guys on Thursday. Everybody have a great evening.